Today, modern humans believe we are living in the healthiest era in history. Yet when we closely examine medieval life, a very different picture emerges. One where people lived simply, stayed close to nature, and followed daily routines that naturally supported physical and mental health. Medieval people woke up with the sunrise, worked with their hands, labored in fields, walked long distances, and kept their bodies active without gyms or fitness programs. While today we sit for hours staring at screens, their food was fresh, seasonal and free from chemicals, milk straight from animals, vegetables from the soil, and meat without preservatives. Whereas modern diets filled with processed foods, sugar, and artificial ingredients have led to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, their water came from natural springs and rivers. The air was cleaner, and sleeping in darkness maintained a healthy circadian rhythm. While today pollution, blue light exposure, and late-night lifestyles have caused sleep disorders and chronic fatigue. Hunger and physical tiredness were normal, but depression, anxiety, and constant mental stress were far less common because communities were strong, families were closely bonded, and life had a clear purpose. Without supplements, protein powders, or endless medications, medieval people developed strong bones, better immunity, and remarkable endurance. Whereas modern society relies heavily on pills for even minor health issues, although medieval times lacked advanced medical technology, people also suffered from far fewer lifestyle diseases, proving that a natural, balanced way of living was deeply health-focused, while modern comfort has slowly pushed us away from the very nature our bodies were designed to live with. Beyond physical strength and diet, medieval life supported mental clarity and emotional balance in ways modern living struggles to match, because people lived at a slower, more natural pace where time was shaped by daylight, seasons, and community needs, rather than clocks, deadlines, and notifications. Work and rest followed natural cycles, allowing the body and mind to recover properly, while today's non-stop hustle culture keeps stress hormones constantly elevated. Medieval people spent most of their lives outdoors, absorbing sunlight, fresh air, and natural sounds, which strengthened immunity and reduced anxiety, whereas modern humans are trapped indoors under artificial lighting, surrounded by noise and digital overload. Craftsmanship and manual skills, such as farming, blacksmithing, baking, and weaving, gave people a deep sense of purpose and pride. Unlike today's repetitive screen-based jobs that often feel disconnected and mentally draining, social bonds were face-to-face, not virtual. And loneliness was rare because survival depended on cooperation, trust, and shared responsibility, while modern society faces a loneliness epidemic despite being digitally connected. Even their hardships played a role in building resilience, teaching patience, endurance, and respect for the body's limits, whereas modern comfort has made people physically weaker and mentally less tolerant of discomfort. Although medieval life was not perfect and lacked modern medicine, its deep alignment with nature, movement, simplicity, and community created healthier humans overall, reminding us that true health is not built by technology alone, but by living in harmony with the natural rhythms our bodies still remember. Another powerful reason medieval life supported better health was its deep connection to natural healing and body awareness, where people understood their limits, listened to physical signals, and relied on rest, herbs, fasting, and simple remedies, instead of constant chemical intervention. Illness was often prevented through active living, clean food, and strong immunity, rather than treated after damage was done. While modern society waits for sickness to appear before reacting with medication, medieval diets naturally included fasting periods due to seasons and food availability, giving the digestive system time to reset, whereas today's constant eating, snacking, and sugar intake have overloaded metabolism and weakened gut health. Sleep was long and restorative because nights were dark and quiet, unlike modern nights filled with artificial lights, screens, and noise that disturb hormonal balance. Even pain, cold, and hunger were respected as signals rather than enemies, helping people build tolerance and strength. While modern living avoids discomfort at all costs, leading to fragile bodies and low resilience, medieval children grew up physically active, exposed to soil, animals, and weather, building strong immune systems, while modern children grow up indoors, overprotected, and increasingly allergic and anxious. In the end, medieval life teaches us that health is not created by convenience, instant comfort, or endless consumption, but by movement, moderation, hardship, and harmony with nature. Lessons modern humans must relearn if they wish to regain true strength and balance. One of the most overlooked aspects of medieval health was the natural discipline built into everyday life, where routine, responsibility, and survival created a structured existence that kept both body and mind stable. Unlike modern life, where excess choice, comfort, and distraction weaken self-control, medieval people ate when food was available, slept when the sun set, worked until the task was finished, and rested when the body demanded it, creating a balance modern schedules rarely allow. There was no overconsumption, no endless entertainment, and no constant stimulation, which protected the brain from burnout and attention disorders so common today. Physical hardship, walking long distances, lifting heavy tools, enduring weather, strengthened muscles, bones, and joints naturally, while modern convenience has replaced movement with machines and comfort with inactivity. Fear, excitement, and stress existed, but they were short-lived and tied to real survival, not the constant low-level anxiety caused by news, social media, and digital pressure. Even aging was different, as medieval elders remained active, respected, and involved in daily life, rather than isolated or sedentary, preserving their physical and mental sharpness. Though modern technology has brought undeniable benefits, medieval life reminds us that true health is built through discipline, simplicity, purpose, and natural effort. Values that, if reintroduced into modern living, could restore much of what we have silently lost. At its core, medieval life nurtured a deep respect for balance, between effort and rest, hunger and nourishment, silence and sound, that modern living has largely forgotten, because people understood that the body thrives on rhythm rather than excess. Nothing was wasted, including energy, food, or time, and this mindful use of resources kept people lean, strong, and metabolically healthy. While today's world promotes constant consumption and instant gratification, medieval people were rarely sedentary. Even during rest they moved, repaired tools, tended animals, or walked within their communities, keeping blood circulation and joint mobility active throughout life. Unlike modern lifestyles dominated by chairs and screens, emotional health was supported by faith, tradition, and shared rituals that provided meaning and stability. Whereas modern society often struggles with identity, purpose, and inner peace, despite material abundance, even death was accepted as part of life, reducing the fear-driven anxiety that haunts modern minds obsessed with control and longevity. The medieval way of living teaches us that health is not a product you buy, a pill you swallow, or a device you wear, but a state earned through simplicity, patience, movement, and connection to nature, to others, and to oneself, making it clear that while we live in a modern world, our bodies still crave the ancient wisdom of medieval life. Ultimately, medieval life reminds us that human health was once a byproduct of living correctly, rather than something constantly managed, measured, and repaired, because daily survival naturally aligned the body with its original design. People did not chase happiness through comfort or entertainment, but found fulfillment in contribution, labor, and belonging, which created emotional strength and mental stability rarely achieved in modern society. The absence of artificial stimulants, addictive sugars, and chemical overload protected their nervous systems, while today's overexposure to caffeine, energy drinks, saint food, and digital dopamine has left modern humans restless, fatigued, and mentally exhausted. Pain, fatigue, and struggle were accepted as temporary states, rather than problems to be eliminated instantly, building resilience and patience that modern convenience has eroded. Life moved at a human pace, allowing reflection, storytelling, and wisdom to pass naturally between generations, strengthening identity and continuity. Though we cannot return fully to medieval times, their way of living offers a powerful blueprint, showing that real health comes from purpose over pleasure, movement over comfort, simplicity over excess, and harmony with nature over artificial control. Lessons that may be the key to healing the modern body and mind. Medieval life also protected people from the silent health destroyers that dominate modern society because it lacked constant comparison, competition, and artificial standards of success that now fuel insecurity and chronic stress. There were no social media platforms to distort self-worth, no endless advertisements convincing people they were incomplete, and no pressure to perform every moment of the day, allowing minds to remain calmer and more focused. People measured success through survival, skill, honor, and contribution to their community, rather than wealth or appearance, which built inner confidence and emotional stability. Daily life demanded patience. Crops took months to grow, skills took years to master, and rewards were earned slowly, training the brain to tolerate delay and effort. Unlike today's instant gratification culture that weakens attention spans and emotional control, This slower mental conditioning supported stronger nervous systems and reduced burnout, reminding us that mental health is deeply tied to pace, purpose, and realistic expectations rather than constant stimulation and validation. Finally, medieval life teaches us that health is deeply connected to identity and belonging, because people knew who they were, where they came from, and what role they played in the world, creating psychological grounding that modern society often lacks. Traditions, seasonal festivals, shared labor, and oral storytelling strengthened memory, cultural continuity, and emotional security, while modern life fragments identity through rapid change and digital distraction. The body responded positively to this stability, as consistent routines and meaningful roles reduced anxiety and supported hormonal balance. Even struggle had meaning, because it contributed directly to family and community survival, unlike modern stress that often feels abstract and endless. In this way, medieval life did not merely keep people alive, it kept them rooted, resilient, and whole, offering a final reminder that true health is not achieved by escaping hardship, but by living a meaningful life in alignment with nature, purpose, and human connection. In the end, the greatest lesson medieval life offers modern humanity is that health was once an invisible reward of living in balance, not a constant struggle to fix what has already been broken, because every aspect of daily life, from movement and food to rest and relationships, worked together naturally to support the human body and mind. People were not obsessed with fitness, diets, or longevity, yet they remained physically capable because survival itself demanded strength, endurance, and adaptability. There was no separation between work, exercise, and purpose, as all three existed within the same daily actions. Unlike modern life where these elements are artificially divided and often neglected, the absence of non-stop noise, digital overload, and artificial urgency allowed the nervous system to reset each day, preserving mental clarity and emotional calm, even suffer. Had boundaries, coming and going with seasons rather than lingering endlessly, as chronic stress does today. Medieval life shows us that progress without wisdom can weaken the human condition, and that reclaiming even fragments of this ancient lifestyle, walking more, eating simply, sleeping naturally, building real communities, and accepting effort as essential, may be the key to restoring the health, resilience, and inner strength that modern living has slowly taken away. Medieval life, despite its hardships, was healthier in many fundamental ways because it followed the natural design of the human body rather than fighting against it, as people lived in close harmony with nature, daylight, seasons, and physical effort. Daily life itself was exercise, from walking long distances and farming to crafting tools and caring for animals, which kept bodies strong, flexible, and resilient without the need for gyms or artificial routines. Food was fresh, local, seasonal, and free from chemicals, preservatives, and excessive sugar, supporting digestion, immunity, and metabolic health, while modern diets overloaded with processed foods have caused widespread chronic disease. Sleep followed natural rhythms, with darkness encouraging deep rest and recovery. Unlike today's screen-filled nights that disrupt hormones and mental clarity, mental health was protected by strong family ties, close communities, shared purpose, and meaningful work, reducing loneliness, anxiety, and identity confusion. Stress existed, but was tied to real survival and passed naturally, not trapped endlessly in the mind as modern digital stress does. Although medieval people lacked advanced medicine, they also lacked many modern lifestyle diseases, proving that a simple, active, disciplined, and purpose-driven life may be healthier than a comfortable one disconnected from nature. Building on this idea, medieval health was also strengthened by moderation and necessity, because limited resources naturally prevented overeating, constant snacking, and excess consumption, allowing the body to regulate itself efficiently. Fasting was not a trend, but a natural outcome of seasons and scarcity, giving the digestive system time to rest and repair. Whereas modern abundance keeps insulin levels constantly elevated, people spent most of their time outdoors, absorbing sunlight, fresh air, and environmental exposure that strengthened bones and immunity. While modern humans remain indoors, shielded yet weakened, emotional resilience grew from routine hardship, patience, and acceptance, forming strong nervous systems capable of handling discomfort. Unlike today's low tolerance for stress, children developed physical strength and robust immunity through play, labor, and contact with nature, rather than screens and artificial environments. Elders remained active and respected, maintaining mobility and mental sharpness instead of declining into isolation. All of this reveals that medieval life did not rely on health systems to stay well. It relied on a way of living that quietly protected the body and mind, a truth modern society is only beginning to rediscover. Medieval life, often misunderstood as harsh and unhealthy, was in many ways far more aligned with the natural needs of the human body than modern living. Because health was not something people chased, it was a natural outcome of how they lived each day. Life followed the rhythms of the sun, seasons, and physical necessity, allowing the body's internal clock to remain balanced. While modern society disrupts these rhythms with artificial light, night work, and constant digital stimulation, daily survival required continuous movement such as walking, lifting, farming, building, and crafting, which strengthened muscles, joints, bones, and the cardiovascular system, without gyms or structured exercise. Unlike today's sedentary lifestyle that weakens the body despite advanced fitness knowledge, food was simple, local, seasonal, and unprocessed. Meat, grains, vegetables, fermented foods, raw dairy, and clean water, providing real nutrients instead of empty calories, while modern diets filled with refined sugar, chemicals, and preservatives have led to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and chronic inflammation. Eating was limited by availability, naturally preventing overeating and encouraging fasting periods that supported digestion, metabolism, and gut health, whereas modern constant snacking keeps the body in a permanent state of metabolic stress. Mental health was protected by strong family structures, shared responsibilities, face-to-face social interaction, and a clear sense of purpose, reducing loneliness, anxiety, and identity confusion that dominate modern life. Stress existed but was physical and temporary, tied to real challenges rather than endless abstract worries, news cycles, and social comparison. People spent most of their lives outdoors, exposed to sunlight, fresh air, soil, animals, and natural microbes, strengthening immunity and resilience. While modern humans live indoors, over-sanitized yet physically weaker, children grew up active, independent, and grounded in reality. Elders remained useful, respected, and mobile, and life had meaning beyond comfort and consumption. Although medieval people lacked modern medicine, they also lacked many lifestyle diseases, proving that health is not created by technology alone, but by discipline, movement, simplicity, community, and harmony with nature. Lessons modern society must relearn if it hopes to restore true physical and mental well-being.